Heyo, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Ace. This is Fantasized Football. We are back once again, bringing out some more fantasy football content for the 2021 fantasy football season. And we are here today to bring y'all my starts of the week for week 8 of the fantasy football season, as well as answering you guys' start or sit questions. But before we get into that, the main event, the meat and potatoes, quick shout out to each and every one of y'all that come by on a weekly basis, helping the channel to grow. I really do appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. But if you're new to the channel, welcome to my humble abode. I do hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do at any point, make sure to leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Help me reach my goal of 500 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the fantasy football season. I would appreciate any and all help reaching that goal. But before we get into this, right, there's something I feel like I got to do. And it's not something I want to do. It's not something I want to do at all, but I feel like I got to do it, so I'm just going to do it. Back up. Picture back up. Now you might be thinking to yourselves, Ace, what are you doing? What are you doing? Listen, if you've been following the channel for a while, you know I'm the leader of the Allen Robinson fan club. I love Allen Robinson. I'm not doing this because I don't believe in him, and I don't still love him, but I'm superstitious, and I feel like I'm jinxing him. I feel like it's partially my fault. Allen, if you're listening, I'm sorry. So what I did is I took the jersey down, I put it to the side, right? And watch. He's going to have a massive week this week, and I'm going to look like a genius. And I'm never going to put the jersey back up again. No, I'm probably going to put the jersey back up. But I just wanted to do that because I felt like I was jinxing my boy, and I never want to hurt Allen Robinson. I love you, Allen. I love you. I love you. I love you guys, too, if you didn't know that. But anyways, with that out of the way, had to do that, had to get that off my chest, had to take care of it. Let's get into the starts of the week. We got quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and then 5 start or sit questions from you guys that I will be answering here today. So without further ado, let's kick it off with my quarterback start of the week, which is going to be Kirk Cousins of the Minnesota Vikings at home versus Dallas. What do you think of? What do you think of when you think of the Vikings, right? I'll tell you what I think of. I think of a run-first offense, right? Well, in 4 out of 6 games this season, Kirk Cousins has had 38 or more pass attempts. In those same 4 out of 6 games, he's had 26 or more fantasy points. Also in 4 out of 6 games this season, Kirk Cousins has had over 300 passing yards or 3 or more touchdowns. Kirk Cousins has quietly been a very, very solid fantasy quarterback thus far this season. He's had a couple dud games, but outside of that, he has been very, very good. He's got a matchup here against Dallas that I really, really like. I expect a high-scoring matchup. A lot of volume on both sides of the balls, on both sides of the ball. On both sides of the ball, I expect a lot of volume. And I'm not the only one that thinks this. Vegas does too, evidenced by this game having the highest over-under of the week. So if you got a decision to make at the quarterback position, you have Kirk Cousins on your roster, I'm absolutely starting him this week. As for a projected stat line, I am for 41 pass attempts, 30 completions, 356 yards, 2 touchdowns, and let's just throw in a carry for 4 yards for the memes, right? Based on a 6-point per passing touchdown league, that is going to be good for 26.6 fantasy points. You got Kirk Cousins, start him. Start Kirk Cousins this week. Love this matchup here against Dallas. Moving on over to the running back position, we have Chuba Hubbard of the Carolina Panthers at the Atlanta Falcons. This is another great matchup here. Atlanta has allowed 100 or more rushing yards or a touchdown to running backs in 5 out of 6 games this season. 100 or more total yards to running backs or a touchdown in 5 out of 6 games this season. This could be the swan song for Chuba Hubbard. It actually is the swan song more than likely because Christian McCaffrey is going to come back off of IR next week, and he's more than likely going to come back into the role that we've seen that we know from Christian McCaffrey. Maybe we see a little more involvement from Chuba Hubbard to keep McCaffrey healthy, but he is not going to be a fantasy stud moving forward. But we have seen in these games without McCaffrey, Hubbard be the clear lead back for the Carolina Panthers. We know how they like to use their running backs. Hubbard has been averaging 19 opportunities a game over these past 4 games. And the good thing about Chuba Hubbard is he's not really game script dependent. He's also going to be involved in the passing game. So even if Atlanta gets out to a lead, Chuba Hubbard is still going to be involved. This is a great matchup here against Atlanta. I expect a competitive game, a lot of scoring opportunities. So if you got Chuba Hubbard on your fantasy lineup, slot him in there this week. Put him in there. I'm expecting a big week for a projected stat line for 18 carries, 88 yards, and a touchdown, adding in 4 targets for 3 catches and 23 yards. Good for 18.6 half PPR points. Now, moving on from the running back position, we're going to move over to the wide receiver position. And the player I want to talk about is Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman Jr. going up at home versus Tennessee this week. The Titans have allowed 100-plus yards or a touchdown, or 1 or more touchdowns, I should say, to wide receiver ones in 4 out of 7 games this season. Now, T.Y. Hilton is back, but I think that Michael Pittman has kind of established himself as the top option on this team. He's seen 7 or more targets in 4 out of 7 games this season. He's had 2 games with double-digit targets. The volume has been there for Michael Pittman. He had over 100 yards and a touchdown last week as well. So he's coming off a good game. You're riding the hot hand here. You're riding the hot hand. This is the cold hand, actually. This is the cold hand. This is also the cold hand because it's really cold in here. But Michael Pittman is the hot hand. So you're going to ride him to a win this week against Tennessee. I expect a competitive matchup here between the Colts, between Tennessee. Plenty of volume, plenty of scoring opportunities on both sides of the ball. So if you got Michael Pittman, slot him into your fantasy lineup this week. For a projected stat line for 9 targets, 7 catches, 98 yards, and a touchdown. Good for 19.3 half PPR points. Now, moving on to our last start of the week, we have the tight end start of the week. Now, I could very easily week in and week out be like, start Kyle Pitts, start Travis Kelce, start Darren Waller, start Mark Andrews, whoever it may be. But I want to diversify things because obviously not all of us have those players. So I'm going with Tyler Higbee here of the LA Rams going up against Houston at Houston this week. Houston has allowed a touchdown to the tight end position in each of the last 4 games. Higbee's seen 5 or more targets in 5 out of 7 games this season. He's coming off a season-high 8 targets last week. So I think him and Stafford are starting to develop more of a connection, develop some chemistry there, and hopefully we see that moving forward in a good matchup against Houston this week. This is a game where I expect a lot of scoring opportunities. I expect the Rams to be controlling this game, to be in the red zone a lot, and hopefully Tyler Higbee can connect with Matt Stafford for a touchdown at some point in this game and provide a great fantasy week for all of us Tyler Higbee managers out there. Now, as for a projected stat line for Tyler Higbee, I have him for 7 targets, 5 catches, 57 yards, and a touchdown. Good for 14.2 half PPR points. Now that is it for the starts of the week. Quickly recap, we got Kirk Cousins at quarterback, Chuba Hubbard at running back, Michael Pittman at wide receiver, and Tyler Higbee at tight end. And now it's time to answer you guys' starter sit questions. Like I said before, we have 5 of them today. So here we have half PPR. We need to pick two flexes here. We have Javonte Williams at home versus Washington, Devontae Smith at home, at Detroit, Jalen Waddle at Buffalo, or Zach Moss at home versus Miami. I'm going to go with Jalen Waddle and Javonte Williams here. Waddle is more of a volume play here. Buffalo has a very good pass defense, but this game might be a little more competitive than some people may think. I am a Miami fan, and I'm not just saying that because of it. It's a divisional matchup, right? Tua, Jalen Waddle, they clearly have a connection. Tua has looked good the past couple of weeks. So I'm banking on Jalen Waddle here based on the volume. He's been averaging, I think it was like 9 targets, 7 catches over about 70 yards and a touchdown every game he's played with Tua. Small sample size, but clearly they do have a good relationship. So I'm going to go with Waddle. And then for Javonte, I just like this matchup against Washington. Washington has allowed a touchdown to running backs in 5 of 6 games this season. And you don't know, will it be Melvin Gordon? Will it be Javonte? I'm not really 100% sure, but this is the time of year. You know, you're going to see him get more and more involved. Last week, he saw a little down week. The week before that, Javonte was very good. So I'm going to bank on Javonte Williams. I'm going with Jalen Waddle and Javonte Williams as my 2 here for this question. Moving on to the second question, we have half PPR. Darrell Williams at home versus the Giants, or Damian Harris at the Chargers. Now, I'm going with Darrell Williams here. You might be thinking, wow, Darrell Williams over Damian Harris. Yes. Even in half PPR. This is why. I like the matchup a lot better against the Giants. The Giants have let up 2 touchdowns, over 100 yards, 2 running backs in 2 out of the last 3 games. Over 100 yards or a touchdown in 5 out of 7 games this season. As for Damian Harris, I just don't like this matchup as much. The Chargers defense is better than the Giants defense. This is a game where I expect, well, maybe not expect, but it's very possible, it's very much so in the range of outcomes that Damian Harris, the running backs, get a little bit game scripted out of this game if the Chargers get out to an early lead and the Patriots have to throw the ball quite frequently. Like the matchup for Darrell Williams, like the fact that I expect Kansas City to control this game, this to be a run-heavy game script for Kansas City. If they get out to an early lead, plenty of scoring opportunity for Darrell Williams, so I'm going with Darrell Williams over Damian Harris here in half PPR. Moving on to our third question, we have a PPR flex. Khalil Herbert at home versus San Francisco, or T.Y. Hilton at home versus Tennessee. I'm going with Khalil Herbert here, right? Khalil Herbert has been too good not to start. He's actually looked very, very good. I think even when David Montgomery comes back, we could see a role in this offense for Khalil Herbert. On top of that, the 49ers have allowed a touchdown to the running back position in 5 out of 6 games thus far this season. Damian Williams is going to be involved as well, but I could see a big game here for Khalil Herbert. As for T.Y. Hilton, I do like the matchup a lot, but he's only played in 1 game this season. He missed last week. I think Pittman's probably the main guy here. T.Y. will be involved, but I just feel more confident with Khalil Herbert, hence why I decided to go with him here. Moving on to our fourth question, we have Tyler Boyd at the New York Jets or Michael Gallup at Minnesota. I'm going with Tyler Boyd. We're not even sure if Michael Gallup's going to play, but we're just going to assume for the sake of this question that Michael Gallup does play, right? Michael Gallup may be on a snap count. We might not see much volume there for him. Tyler Boyd has not been great to start the season, but this is a great matchup against the Jets. I mean, it is a little scary because, again, the Bengals could get into a very run-heavy game script here if they get out to an early lead like I expect them to, but I think Tyler Boyd will at least give you a safe floor, whereas Michael Gallup, if he is on a snap count, he only sees 1-2 targets, he could really lose you your week. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Tyler Boyd here in – actually, I don't have a format. PPR, definitely. Half PPR, whatever it is. I'm going with Tyler Boyd here. Moving on to our last question, we have a PPR flex. We have Cole Beasley at home versus Miami or Michael Carter at home versus Cincinnati. I'm going to go with Cole Beasley. This one's a little closer. The thing is with Michael Carter is the workload is kind of unpredictable for Carter, right? We saw him get more volume in the passing game, but before that, he was seeing 2-3 targets a week. You also have the backup quarterback. You have Mike White starting at quarterback here. I expect the Bengals to probably control this game a lot. Cole Beasley, like I mentioned before, this game might be a little more competitive than some people expect. Cole Beasley is also coming off a very good week as well. I'm just going with the better offense here. I'm going with banking on Josh Allen and Cole Beasley over the Jets, Michael Carter, Mike White, whoever it may be. So that's why I'm choosing Cole Beasley here. But we are done. We are done. I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. If you did at any point, make sure to leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Help me reach my goal of 500 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the fantasy football season. I would appreciate any and all help reaching that goal. I hope you guys have a great weekend. You enjoy football. You smash your fantasy matchups, all that good stuff. Thank you for all you that drop them start or sit questions. I really, really do appreciate it so very much. Follow my socials down in the description. I know this video is coming out Friday. Usually it's Saturday. So if you guys were a little late, couldn't get your start or sit questions in, whatever it was, hop on over to my Instagram, hop on over to my Twitter, DM them to me, whatever, tweet it at me, leave it in the comments of this video. Any start, sit questions, any other questions you may have, I would love to answer them. But that is it. That is all. That is all there is. Me, my boy, we are done. We will catch y'all next time. And as always, thank you, love you, peace.